There are two types of muscle activations that we should be concerned with. The first is concentric. This means your muscles are shortening under a load. The second is eccentric, which means your muscles are lengthening under a load. So during the swing or the overhead throw, the muscles behind the shoulders, more specifically your scapula stabilizers, are working concentrically, or they're shortening to hold this limb further back behind you and to stabilize the joint. As the arm is going into external rotation behind the body, our internal rotators are working eccentrically, or they're stretching under the load of the arm. Now, the feelings or sensations surrounding these two types of muscle activations are important to understand and to be aware of. They'll give you a better idea if you're activating the proper muscles and relaxing the proper muscles during the swing and the overhead throw. So the two sensations that I want you to be aware of are a pinch and a stretch. So during the arm cocking phase of the throw and the swing, you should feel a very forceful pinch right behind your scapula or shoulder blade of the throwing or hitting arm. That's how you know those scapula stabilizers are working concentrically or shortening to help your scapula retract or pull backwards towards your spine. From the back, it looks like this. From the side. So if you notice, when I'm activating those scapula stabilizers, more specifically the rhomboid, which is responsible for scapular retraction, it naturally puts my hitting arm in proper position behind the body, as well as even with the shoulder line. The reason that we want it even with the shoulder line is so that when we go into external rotation, it's in proper position to help stretch out those internal rotators. Now that covers the first sensation that I want you to be aware of. The second sensation is a very, very forceful stretch, more specifically of those internal rotators. So during that late arm cocking phase, when the arm is going into external rotation, as you feel that very, very forceful pinch or concentric muscle activation behind your shoulder, at the very same time, you should feel a very forceful stretch on the opposite side of the shoulder. That's how you know those internal rotators are stretching eccentrically to build elastic energy that will then impart velocity to your arm during the acceleration phase of the arm swing. Now this is what it looks like when we put it all together. So as you can see in the example, as I'm going through that arm cocking phase of the swing, my scapula stabilizers are being heavily activated or concentrically activated, shortened to help retract my scapula back towards my spine. That's where I'm feeling that very, very forceful pinch. That's what allows that hitting arm to be pulled really far back behind the body. Remember that it will position it properly, and it will also stabilize the joint. Now, as my arm goes into late arm cocking or external rotation, that's when I'm feeling that very, very forceful stretch across the front of my shoulder. That's how I know that my internal rotators are being stretched or eccentrically loaded. Remember, those work like rubber bands. As those rubber bands are being stretched, they gain elastic energy, which will naturally catapult my arm forward during acceleration. So now that you have a better understanding of what you should feel during the swing, it should be easier to identify whether or not you're doing it wrong. Remember, it's tough to understand where your limbs are in space during the movement, which is why sensations are so important. Now remember, a big forceful pinch behind the shoulder blade and a big forceful stretch across the front are those sensations that you want to look for. My name is Isaac Newell. Thank you for your time. More videos on the way.